Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Welcome to episode 191 of the Go Get That podcast. Just Dan and Bob, or Jordan, as I am known as. It says Bob on your Zoom. My name is Jordan. And Dan, breaking down the Cadillac Championship from Trump Doral. Sore throat for me tonight. Will try my best. Please do not make any comments in the comment section. I'm putting in as much effort as I possibly can. And we're here to discuss Jordan Spieth's T18, Cam Young's triumph in a tournament that was over after 54 holes, pretty much. Happy to be back, Dan. We're working this week as well at the Truist Championship, which we'll preview tomorrow. It'll just be me and Bob doing that one. But I think this has been 13 for Jordan so far this year. Didn't get to watch much at all. I watched Thursday, and then Friday through Sunday was kind of limited, but not good. Not good, I don't think. That's kind of probably my overall takeaway, and we'll talk. There was some good, but for starters, lost strokes on approach for the second straight event, which is very bad. He shot his best round of the year, which was good, and it ended up in a T18, which is very bad. So, not feeling great, but looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
Yeah, it's another very Spiethian week. I feel like we sit here and we say that every week. It's kind of interesting a little bit that Bob's not here because in the last kind of State of the Spieth episode we had, he was asking for more entertainment, higher levels of variance, I think is what we were kind of what Bob was looking for specifically. And we got it, certainly. I mean, they're, through 39 holes, Spieth was trailing one man. And, you can look at it as, and rightfully so, a disappointment to then finish trailing 17 men. But to get a little bit of juice, see the little bit of life that was there. That was the 65 on Thursday was the first round that was really put together, held on to, probably stole one or two and didn't give back all that many. And it felt like, hey, yeah, he played a 65 level round, a round worthy of being in second by himself. The concern, and Friday was decent on approach as well. The concern is the drop off of those numbers as we go into the weekend. The driver wasn't particularly great rounds 1 through 3, and then of course round 4. I don't know if he led the field on Sunday, but it was a really solid performance off the tee on Sunday, coupled with a horrific day with the iron play. And it again just goes back to the idea and the overarching theme of the season is that when it's on, and it's been on for each category for parts of the year, it's top 5 in the field on any given day. The problem is that it's never coupled with a high floor for the other areas of high levels of play. So it's the variance not within the scores or within the results, but the variance within the type of play and the quality of play is just so high. And that's ultimately what's kind of derailing some better finishes. Think about it, he was 9 under early Saturday, second to last group out, played the rest of the way in 2 over and missed out on a top 10 by those 2 shots. So, it's sort of Did it really feel like a top 10? No, but you're kind of like, man, it'd be nice to hang on to a few more of these shots and get a result that portrays somebody who played um, the best round of his season. So disappointing to not be able to kind of get more out of this week, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, best round in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I think 22, no, 23 Masters round four,
Yeah.
where he shot that 66 on Sunday and lost to Phil. That was the record holder that we've been chasing kind of ever since, and he eclipsed that with the 65 on Thursday. Gained 6.6 shots on Thursday. And then rounds three and four, he lost 6 shots with the approach. So he
Yeah.
basically gave back on the weekend just on approach everything he did Thursday, which is just demoralizing. Again, I didn't get to watch much, but I mean, a little bit concerning too. I mean, recording this Monday night, he was out there a couple hours ago at Quail Hollow already. He had 110 balls today.
Yeah.
So on one side, the first 2 days, kind of as you said, the approach play was great, but then the drop off over the weekend, the significant drop off. He didn't lose 2 shots over the week; he lost six. It was ugly 2 straight days. After being really good for the first 2 days, uh, it begs the question: is it gone? I don't think so, but
No.
110 balls today in, and he's certainly probably looking for something. Um, yeah, is just these weeks are blending together. I kind of said it in my Instagram post. Pretty much every week feels the same. I mean, he's doing something well, and then it just drops off. Um, Another light green box on the data golf page, and I mean, he's
Right.
that's kind of been who he is. And I already ran the model for Quail Hollow this week, and he's becoming very, very good in these signature events. If you got 3/3 of the field, he's in the bottom of the top third, and it's just
Yeah.
you were stuck there.
Yeah. And a lot of that's just due to yeah, there's elite play, as I kind of mentioned in one category, and the exact opposite in another. That middles out to good to pretty good. And that's really the area of struggle. I think, too, it doesn't help, right? You putt really well Thursday, and then you can't make anything Friday to keep momentum and keep a little pace with Cam Young. Friday, the finish was pretty awesome. It was a pretty, it was a slog for 15 holes. Made a nice, really easy birdie on 16, and then played 17. Well, I guess he left it 8 feet short on his lag, but hold a nice par putt, and then played 18, which was playing half a shot over par, middle fairway, middle green, hole a putt, and really kind of save your round almost in a lot of ways and make it a very positive, productive day. And then good start on Saturday through 2 holes. Didn't get the par five first, but birdie at the second, solid play at the third, and then Saturday to me, I know you didn't watch, but or weren't able to see much of it, and this is where I'll switch it to be a little bit more. I don't know if optimistic is the right word because I don't think physically the swing is quite where it needs to be to support some of the mental instability. Um, and mentally, obviously, it's not strong enough to pick himself up from some of these physical things. But um, the real errors occurred on some of these long par threes, wind into out of the left, trying to hold up a draw into a back left flag, and sort of or playing some sort of fade and just issuing a double cross. So it was a similar um, wind, similar. I guess 13 was, you had to kind of draw something in there to a left flag. 4 was a far right flag, and you're trying to fade something in, but he hit basically hooks on both of those shots. Um, which I think the miss on 4 was like a minus 1.3 approach. Like for not hitting the water, if you're not on data golf very much, that's awful.
Hard to
Like
do.
that's very hard to do. You don't even have to click on the red box to have it tell you how many shots it lost. Like if there's one shot or hole that's really good, it'll just like kind of say what it was. Um, because basically he ended up just having the chip into the bunker. Um, and I mean he wasn't winning this tournament, right? And we got an ounce of contention. We got a round in contention, round and a half. I guess maybe if you count the first round as being in contention. That's nice. So kind of positive there. And then, like I said, he felt like he gave away some shots in the approach play this weekend and finished 2 shots outside of the top 10. Granted, limited field, these signature event top 10s feel um, weak in some ways. Like you can not play very well and still get a top 10, but it it's both easy. You can find ways to look at it and be like, oh, he's kind of close. Like you can see it if you watch him play. The swings look more balanced for the most part. Like the indecision isn't as common, but then there's 2 or 3 swings that are indecisive, and he can't save a 6-footer on 5 hole. There's a 9-hole stretch where he can't make a putt. The scores go down. He starts trying to figure out everything about his swing on the golf course, and we go from trying to work ourselves into a contention to just kind of middling out in the T20 range. Um, and that's kind of, disappointing, but it is where it is right now. He's but you could make the case that he's quite literally a few swings away from really being there. Um, but that's kind of how it's been all year. So
Yeah, it's tough to disagree. I mean, he wasn't winning this week, but he could have easily been sole second, and that's what's kind of frustrating.
yeah,
Um, it's interesting too. I mean, the scores just like all credit to Cam Young, he played great this week, but no one else really played good. Like you look at the numbers, credit to Data Golf for their weighted strokes gain. I mean, Spieth's player's performance, which he was T32 at, and his Pebble Beach performance, which he was T29 at, both got better marks than a T18 at the Cadillac. They would tell you that he played better at Pebble Beach than the players in the Cadillac. And it makes sense. I mean, he played great on Thursday. He did not have it the last 54 holes. He strung it together Friday, and it's a shame Friday wasn't the worst round of the week because if it was, we're talking our first top 10 of the year, maybe even a top five. But it wasn't good. And I think that's just what's so frustrating. It's like, think the bot like Friday, like, oh man, like you were pumped in. I was up in Massachusetts with my family and I'm texting you and you're psyched. Like you're
yeah,
psyched. And it's sometimes rare for Dan to text me during a tournament, like right after a putt, because Dan's a busy man. But Dan was locked in when Spieth made
yeah,
that birdie on 18, and I'm away. I'm not really watching, but obviously excited. And it's just like we felt Friday like that was going to be his worst round of the week. He scrapped it around. He you got it in, and he was in a fine spot. And then he comes out Saturday, and he got off to a good start Saturday, relatively speaking. If I
yeah.
recall, I'd have to look again, but I mean, he fought. I think you mentioned he didn't birdie one Saturday, did he? He birdied
Didn't
two,
birdie
didn't he?
one, but made a really nice putt on 2. Big
Yeah.
slider from like 12 feet. And I think you watched Nick Taylor hit it around and we're like, all right, he doesn't look great. Cam Young bogeyed the first. And so I think Spieth got the lead down to 3. And I mean, I know Nick Taylor had a few birdies right off the rip, but you didn't look at those swings and think, oh man, like he's flushing it. He was scrapping it around a little bit and then took advantage of some more gettable holes. And then Spieth just hit a god awful iron shot on 4 and wasn't able to keep it as a bogey. I think if he makes that 5-footer, made a birdie on 6 or 7, um, wasn't able to get it up and in on 8, but you kind of think that play the front nine and 1 under, get some of the par fives on the back, which he didn't play very well Saturday. Um, and you could have seen like a 2-3 under round, which at that spot in the tournament gets you to 11 under. Cam Young's, I think he finished at 15, and you're 2 clear of Scheffler. And it's a final group of Young, Spieth, Scheffler. Like the starting off at 7 under and having, he really didn't have to play that well to get to a really good finish this week. And I think that's kind of what stings the most. Just kind of thinking on some of these shots though too, like 4 was just a horrible duck hook basically. Didn't really throw many darts on the weekends. I will say Saturday was kind of whipping around a little bit, and that can make it tough. But then just some bunker shots on 10, laid up into a bunker from 75 yards, bladed it, had like a 90-footer that he got down into pretty magically, actually. And then 12 laid up in a bunker again, and then bladed it over the green and made a 6. So you played the par fives that day and won over. And then of course, fairway bunker on 18, I believe, chunked it into the water. Like the numbers look bad, the vibes don't look good all the time. But when you think about the round and you think about the swings, it's like he really made 5 just horrible swings. But the other 20 are like fine. And it's like, well, why are there 5 horrendous swings in 2 rounds on the weekends? Like tournament losing swings. They exist in the bag way too much. I don't know if he was trying to do too much. I don't know. Something got off mechanically. But in that lens, because I won't be on the truest preview, I do think it's fixable a little bit. Like I'm not like concerned that the whole game is lost. I just don't think the best stuff is ever like actually there. So it wouldn't surprise me if he played pretty decently and it was a T14 this week, which is fine. Like get us into the US Open and get us into these signature events next year. But it's also kind of lame. It's like, well, yeah, you're not really contending. Which I'm kind of rambling a little bit here, but Thursday was still nice. Like you shoot a 65, some things go right. And it was nice to see a little bit of pop in the score and not just in like a statistical category for a day or for a week for that matter.
Best round in 3 years. I mean, I have to get upset at that. Um, yeah, I really agree. I kind of like that, we're going to Quail Hollow, a place he's typically played pretty poor at, and go fix it there, dude. Like, I'm happy he's not going to a happy place this week where it's like, oh man, like it could just, like either put up or shut up. You either get it fixed and, play well. Because it was 2 straight weeks of losing on approach. He was on a run of what, 7 or 8 gaining in a row.
Yeah.
What, 6? Um, and still it's about average this week, so it's like not the end of the world, but the weekend was the end of the world. First 2 days were good and he gave it all back. So that's not great. I'm trying to think about any more Spieth thoughts. I lean negative. I mean, I'm just fed up with the T12s, T18s of the world. It's tough to be positive when they keep on happening on a weekly basis. It's like if they happen, I can live with it, but I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. And my IG followers and my DMs, some of them, they're like, "Why aren't you being positive?" I'm like, dude, we've done this like 6 times this year. Like, I'm not getting any enjoyment out of it. I got
Yeah.
enjoyment out of Thursday, obviously, but I mean, he didn't have anything the last 54 holes,
Yeah.
um, which isn't, it's just not what I'm looking for.
Right. It was the juice on Thursday was nice.
It was.
It was nice to taste it. But And it gives you some hope. See, what's interesting, right, is like if we flip the 4 days,
Can't do
we're
that,
feeling
Dan.
we're feeling great right now. Man, a Sunday 65. Look at all this momentum, yada
Can't do
yada.
that.
But you can't do that. Like you gotta like he played worse almost every day post. And a lot of it feels it. I think what's so interesting about him is that all this stuff you watch it and you're like, oh, that feels so like fixable, and then something else goes wrong,
Yep, that's
and
yeah.
it's this constant like whack-a-mole of like, oh, you did that great this week, like um Saturday, one over on the fives. Sunday played 8 through 12, which was three par fives and then a long three and a medium sized four, 3 under, three circles on the fives,
Making
and
putts.
made a few putts. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, played the par fives properly. Like, why didn't you do that Saturday? Like, where's the consistency is the lack thereof is just incredible. Kind of, I'm not sure how many more like speed thoughts I have other than like some of it's just kind of parlaying into the course and
Yeah, I
the
got a
rest.
couple more. And speaking of consistency, we haven't really mentioned the driver. I believe best week of the year. Um,
I think
which
I've
is
predicted that.
yeah, I think you did. Well, I mean, it's been a pretty low bar in fairness, but yeah, you gained 9/10 of a shot per round.
Yeah,
Best of the year, which of course, after, hitting it all over the damn planet at the RBC, comes back this week, has his best week of the year. And then more consistency comments. He this year's done a pretty good job of not hitting catastrophic iron shots, I'd say. That didn't happen this week. Hit what, a couple, some of the par threes that you were mentioning.
I think there were, I would say there were, I mean, they were all on the weekend. Like honestly, Friday was bland, but like in a good way. It was like you just things just weren't really going. Like he missed a lot of putts Friday. Um, he actually hit the ball fine on Friday, if I remember correctly, and lost. It was gonna be a loss of at one point he was losing 3.5 shots with the putter through 15 holes, I think. Um, but like grounded out, played it at 1 under, which gained strokes. Saturday, I think that actually all, well, say 3.5 really bad iron shots this weekend. Four on Saturday, um, 18 on Saturday. You just can't hit it in the water, which was actually his only water ball of the week, I believe, which is kind of interesting. The water wasn't in play as much as I thought it was gonna be, um, like off the tee, but it certainly was into some of the greens. 18 Saturday. There was one more. What was the other part through? 13 Saturday. And then I want to say it was 14 on Sunday. Made the turn really nicely, got it around to 3 under, driven it beautifully. It's a great tee ball. He's like, 30 yards ahead of, well, 40 yards ahead of Putnam. Not hard to do, but 30 yards ahead of Fowler. And like 145, 150. Great angle. And just like is a little late and stuck. And it's sort of a fatted wedge or nine. And it goes into a horrible spot, duffs the chip, can't make the follow-up chip. Um, and it's like you just killed your round with the bogey. And he was livid. I don't know if you can see it still. But it's kind of a funny watch because there's a lot of leg smacks. There's a lot of like barking at himself, basically. Um, but it truly was one of those swings. You're like, how? That just can't happen. You can't be hitting 9 irons 20 yards short of your target. It's just not a, round killer. Because that's a good look to chance to maybe make a birdie. But okay, you walk away with par. You go maybe birdie 15 or 16, and you're coming home at 9 under, 10 under, playing the final day at 67, 68. Your T6 or whatever, and it's like, all right. But no, had to bogey from 140 in the fairway. Yeah, so probably four atrocious ones. I may be forgetting one. Um, which to your point is like gone away from what he's done all year, which is not really hit horrifically bad iron shots. But there were a few that were out today, and maybe Saturday it was blowing pretty hard. Maybe it's just game's not quite where we thought it was, but um, those things just can't happen. So
No, they can't. I mean, you mentioned wanting to talk about the course a little bit. I don't think I liked it that much.
me neither.
Again, I didn't
I
get
was
to
a little disappointed.
watch. Yeah, I didn't get to watch a whole lot, but just very not memorable. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's known for the 18th hole, which was cool, and it's like, where are the trees on the rest of the course type of deal. I just didn't think there were many in play. I try not to be a big course critique guy, but like it's fine. It didn't replace anything, so if you're gonna add it, I guess if you're giving me Doral instead of Kapalua, I'm cool with it. But I guess I was a little expecting a little bit more fun. I really didn't get that. Um, but yeah, I didn't love it. Just it didn't really stick out to me. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I thought it would be harder.
Yeah.
They really torched it this week. I mean, I know some guys didn't play particularly well, but uh, if Spieth had any more consistency, he also would have been 15 or 16. Like it felt way like there were ways to hit some really good shots. Um, Saturday played reasonably tough, but um, I don't know, just didn't really get very baked out like it could have. Uh, and the water just wasn't as much of a factor as I thought it would be. Uh, I really thought it'd be in play, and I maybe it was on more swings, but it was too many like pretty easy to hit conservative lines to take, I think. Um, and it wasn't like the guys were just tearing up the par fives. A lot of the par fours were pretty gettable as well. Um, just beefy par fives, beefy par threes, and then kind of make some nice plays on the fours, and you can piece together a pretty good round. I don't think the greens were all that complicated. I think is probably what made it easy. Like guys putted well. Um, I don't have an issue with it. Slightly different than some of the Florida courses. Um, a little bit. Like it's got a little bit more character, but it feels like a lot of other Florida courses that you'd think of. Um, and I sort of feel a little dumb for not taking Cam Young. Played well at Bay Hill, won the Players, long Florida courses. Like it makes a lot of sense in hindsight that he kind of dominated there. Um, so I don't think they should take it away. I think years where the wind is up more, it could play a lot harder, which is cool, but didn't think anything special of it this week.
I tend to agree. I remember in the preview we were talking about how hard it might play, and we are looking at some of the live guys. I mean, some of those live cats, man. I mean, they could add them up pretty quickly. I mean, when they played at Doral last year, they played to 74-3-8 for the week. Um, I don't know what the weather was that week. I assume it was probably a bit tougher. But little bit different competition on the PGA Tour compared to the Live Tour. Guess I had one more Spieth thought before I guess we could kind of wrap up. I know you were mentioning triple double a little bit, maybe a little bit of a recap. Did have some equipment changes. Did have a
Yes.
new driver, a new three wood, a new golf ball, Mr. Left
Dash.
Dash,
Yes.
the new golf ball. And one thing I found interesting is I don't think he hit like any draws this week, did he? Was it pretty much exclusively fades, at least with the driver?
It's a good thought. Yeah.
Eh, Yeah, and I was looking at the range session today from Quail Hollow, and it looked like mostly fades as well. So, I don't want to be blunt. I don't think he can hit a draw right now with the driver, which is not great. Not completely necessary, but I think you do factor that in when you put in a new driver into play. There might be some good. I mean, he statistically had his best week driving of the year.
Right.
But I don't know what a Ronimink looks like, but if there's a hole where you got to hit it right to left, I'm a little bit worried right now. But honestly, after the best driving week of the year at Doral, it's probably a little bit far down our list of biggest worries. But just a thought that I had.
Yeah. It's a good thought. And I'll add a couple thoughts to that thought.
A lot of thoughts.
First thought. Yes, a lot of thoughts. That's what we do here.
Yes.
First thought is that I feel like when he has hit a draw this year, though, I've been like, dude, hit more draws. And I know
Why doesn't do it?
we're now into a new driver head and a new ball, and I believe the left dash is a lower spinning ball.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the fades got a little spinny. Um, so the rip bullet cut I have no problems with. He hits it pretty hard. Um, and I think with the way the tech is now, it's just the easier shot to control. Um, my second thought is that I thought he drove it pretty well, but I also think that he didn't hit any water balls. And on a course where you can hit water balls, I think that inflates your stats a little bit. Um,
We've seen the opposite side of the spectrum.
very, very true. But I'll be curious to see how it pans out at Quail. I'm trying to think of, I guess that one par five, maybe seven has water, but for the most part, it's just kind of find it. His accuracy was below field average this week, is the one kind of thing that obviously he's going to have to get tidied up for Quail Hollow because playing out of that rough can be tricky sometimes. To those talk about undulated greens and some tough pins to get after. So, uh, couple notes, just a couple small thoughts on that. But yeah, drove it pretty well. I thought he was on balance for the most part, which was nice. And if anything, the misses were just slightly heely, so maybe a little bit spinnier, but they weren't as spinny, obviously, with a less spinny ball. So it kind of worked out pretty well there.
It's nice to not get boned off the tee. Like I think back to 18 on Thursday. He had a shot
Yes.
and he's been stymied quite a bit on bad tee shots, but Rory won the Masters hitting it all over the place because he had shot after shot, he had window after window. And golf can be lucky like that sometimes. You need luck. And he got it off the tee this week, I think, as you said. Be interesting to see how it translates to Quail. Believe I was reading that he's driven it very well at Quail in his career. Um, we'll leave that for the preview, but believe he has. But yeah, triple double recap. Bob had Cam Young, so jumps back into pole position. Yeah, I mean, go get that podcast. I know the way we drew triple double, it's going to be a lot of chalk, a lot of weeks, but I don't know how many events there have been this year on the tour, maybe 18 or so. I think we've hit outrights in six or so. We've been very good. Bob used both his Cam Young uses and had him at the Players and at the Cadillac. So pretty good. But we all had a good week. I mean, you had Scotty, who was a solo second, and I had Adam Scott, who was a T4. We all had good weeks.
Yeah.
Bob obviously had landed the big blow, but I mean, we did a pretty good job of minimizing the damage, I would say.
Yeah. I will note I've now used both of my Scotties. both solo twos. Um, which
Not
is
bad.
fine. It's better than Ben not getting a good chunk of change, but um I'm gonna be scrapping a little bit because I had to play him to get back into the tournament, which I have. But it's time for me to. I mean, there's only so many. What? It's the Truist this week, the Travelers, and the Memorial,
And then three majors, yeah.
and the three majors. So
Oh, and the playoffs.
and the
Playoffs.
playoffs. Yes, I suppose.
There's a lot left.
So yeah, and I think I've still got a Morikawa, and I've got a Rory, and got a Spieth, and another Jordan Smith, maybe. Um, Kitayama. Like, just gonna have to kind of scrap and claw here. But yeah, Bob's playing well at the moment. So
Bob's got pole position and he has a Rory he can use this week if he wants.
yeah, didn't
If
think
he
about
wants.
that.
If you want, Dan.
Could be. I mean, Rory hasn't played since the Masters, right? So
No, he hasn't.
curious where the game. I'm sure it's a T12 for Mr. McIlroy at the
Would you
worst,
take
but
Rory over Spieth this week? He's thinking.
yes.
He's think. I think he was just thinking just to get you guys to like think he was actually thinking.
No, well, it's not that I am like bullish on Spieth. It'd be more a small fade of McIlroy.
Okay.
Just a lot of time off, which is fine because he can turn it back on. But I just don't think he cares that much about this week. Um,
I mean, yeah, he's only won here, what, three times? Two,
yeah,
three
like he'll
times.
care. He'll wish he had was a little sharper come Saturday. But I don't. My guess is he really probably didn't touch a club for a week after the Masters.
Might
Um,
have been more than a week.
and might have been more than a week, right? Like so. Um, and honestly, like Quayle's a decent. Like it screams another T15 for Spieth.
Positive course fit.
Like he's a decent fit for that track. It's a big course. When he's driving it pretty well, it kind of suits his eye, it seems like. Um, he's had rounds where he's putted really well there. Just whether or not the iron play is sharp for 4 days. Um, but we'll see. Actually, I mean, we didn't. I don't know if we talked about it in our preview because we did it Monday, but Spieth did hit a ton of balls on Tuesday at the Cadillac. 190 led the field, and then obviously played pretty well Thursday. So I'm not too concerned about the ball hittage. Um,
All it is.
Obviously, it doesn't mean things are like going swimmingly, but I think he's sometimes a little better when there's at a certain level. If he keeps going at this rate, he'll start to overdo it. But I think when there's a good amount of balls hit, it means he's really getting kind of things dialed in. So um,
It's a
we'll see.
workhorse.
That's for sure. See if
Grinder.
the putts drop. I think what kind of in hindsight, and this is maybe a little off topic, but just making all those like short putts at the Genesis and then not being able to do anything remotely close to that at any tournament sense has been kind of the biggest momentum killer I think for the season. Um, because it really could look at a few putts this week where man, you knock in an 8 footer and just get a little juice, get a little, make a nice bogey save, make a par save, a birdie putt to get something going. Like those are the kind of putts that he's been missing, and then he makes a lot of putts when they're not meaningless. It's just like when the iron play isn't great, the 28 footers like to go, and yeah. I mean, we're getting back into that rabbit hole, so I'm gonna jump out. But
Yeah.
what a player!
No. What a player. Yeah, we're gonna jump out of this episode momentarily. But yeah, still he's still on track for his best putting season since 2019. You add it all up, and that's the fact. It's been an interesting ride with the with Mills this year, but there have been weeks where he's been first in putting, and there's been weeks like the Masters where he's thrown away another major on the greens. But you add it all up, it's been Mills has been okay this year. We'll see how it goes the rest of the year, I think, with the putter. Because I think he's I was looking earlier. He's lost strokes putting at the two biggest tournaments we've played so far this year, the Players and the Masters. It's like when is Mills going to show up in a big tournament? So we got three left this year. I think I would sign for the over 1.5 if we could get that good putting weeks for Mills. But yeah, that's about all I got, Dan. Kind of ended on a putter rant, but
Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. Let you guys do some previewing tomorrow. Um, I mean, look, T18s are T18s. If that's what the floor is, that's fine. It was nice to see some life early in a tournament, first penultimate group in quite some time. Um, and part of me wants to believe that once that first top 10 comes, like I think a few more will follow is kind of what I'm thinking. So uh we'll see. Plenty of time to still get hot. Decent week to build some more confidence here, but hasn't been much of a builder this season, so who knows?
no, no, he has not. And yeah, the PGA Championship is next week. So let's get going.
It's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. It's really we'll be previewing Quill tomorrow, but the PGA is next week. So let's get going. But yeah, that's all I got. I think that's all you got, Dan. I don't want to cut you off.
Nope, that's I
Um,
shared plenty tonight. So
yeah. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you're listening Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, it'll be live. Bob and I, the Truist Championship preview. And yeah, we'll see you then. Have a take care.
yes, peace.